Welcome to Whole Nation. I'm your host, Rich Pyle, and I have a new friend with me today, Ron Cracraft. Ron, welcome to Whole Nation.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. It's been told to me that you are and have been around cornhole for maybe more than anybody, maybe longer than anybody.
Not anybody, but most of them.
Anybody I've talked to, anyway. So, how long you been playing cornhole?
Close to 28 years at least.
28 years. What's other than the game itself? What was the setup the same? Was the boards the same? The bags? Talk to me about that.
When I started playing, you had to call ahead to a tournament because you didn't know where the boards would be 28 feet, 30 feet, or 33 feet when they throw. Everybody did it different, and that was back before any rules were set down. And you go to the tournaments, and if you didn't know what you were throwing, you might practice at 28 and be throwing 33 when you get there, and it makes a lot of difference. And back then, the bags all had corn in them.
Right.
And after you played with the bags very long, all you had in your hand was a big handful of mush, because the corn would all break up.
Boy, it's changed a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah, a lot.
What did you like better? Did you like the way that it used to be, or do you like the way that it is now?
Yeah, I like the way it used to be, but I'm okay with the change. I like moving on and getting things bigger and better, and the new bags are so much better. There's so many kinds, and everybody can pretty much find what kind of bag they like the best, that they throw the best. I've just found a set of bags that after all this time that I fell in love with, and I throw them all the time now.
What do you think the biggest contributor has been to the improvement of the game over the years?
Probably the pellets in the bags rather than the corn.
Yeah.
And and some bags move better on the boards than others. Some bags, some of them want to have a tendency to lean to the hole when they get there, and others are not so much. They want to cling on.
Yeah, hole friendly, I think is what the
exactly
term that they like to call it. Tell me a little bit about probably your most fond memory of one of the many tournaments that you've obviously played in.
Well, I've told this to many times, and it wasn't a tournament. We actually played in a tournament at Lunken Airport at Cincinnati, and this has been a while. This has been a long time ago, and they had $500 first place, and we had never played for nothing like that, and it was unbelievable. And four teams got in the finals, and we wound up the winners. And the fun part about it was the company that put it on had customers, and they rented a golf course clubhouse and had us go put on an exhibition there. And that was probably the absolute most exciting thing I've done in cornhole. That was really exciting to go do that. And
how did you do in that tournament?
We just played. We played the people, the customers that they had.
Gotcha. So it wasn't really a bracket-based
right.
tournament.
And they wasn't, they wasn't good players, and we just played around and had fun, and they had a big dance afterwards, and they give away prizes, and it was a lot of fun.
Since that beginning, right, the very beginning, early days of cornhole, and where it's at now, where do you see it going in the future?
I see it going big time. I mean, even bigger than it is now. I mean, it feels like it's a big time sport. I think it'll continue to get bigger, and now colleges are playing it. So I look for high schools to start playing it. And if they play the sport in college, they're going to wind up probably give people scholarships for that, like they would anybody else maybe. So, that's another step forward that would make the game better and just make it more broader.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right there. So you started playing how? How did you get into the game of cornhole?
A friend of mine, I work at a school, and a friend of mine, a teacher there, is the coach of the wrestling team. And I'd played horseshoes for years and years and years, and a friend of mine told me he was going to quit and play this bag game, cornhole. And I said, well, I just made the statement, well, that's a girl's game. You don't want to play that. You want to keep playing horseshoes. And so, and that was all said about it. I didn't know anything really about it. So this teacher had a stayover for the weekend for his team at the school, and he brought these cornhole boards that he made. And he told me, he said, go over there and try them. And that's the only thing I've done since then, since I tried the boards, was play
Hooked
cornhole.
like that, huh?
I was hooked just like that.
I know a lot of people were. I did the same thing.
I love the travel. I love the excitement of being, going places and playing in the tournaments, and it's not always all about winning. I mean, if you can go out and have fun like this with a lot of people and that's huge, and the cornhole just adds to it.
Yeah. How long you been playing with the ACO then? Or
I've played with them ever since they started. And they started out, it was called the Nationals. And they had to change it because of Washington's national baseball team. It was a conflict with them. And so then they went and started calling it the World's Tournament. So
That's interesting. So you've been around it since the very beginning, and before the beginning of the ACO.
I finished 4th in the first Nationals tournament they had.
4th?
In the singles, yeah.
Have you? How well have you been doing lately?
I've been doing pretty good. I've been out for 2 or 3 years, and my wife had just passed away last year, and so this is something I can do and have fun and get my mind off things for a while, and I love to play it, and I'm kind of now just getting back maybe in an area where I've been, and so I can go on forward from here. So.
Well, Ron, it's been a pleasure having you here on Whole Nation. It's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit more, and hopefully I'll get to know you even more. You have some great stories, and I'd love to hear some more of those stories about the good old days and how it all started. Thanks for being here, Ron. I appreciate it.
No problem. Appreciate being here.